Ivossi Podcasts, Series 1, Real Lives. Podcast 1. James Lynch, writer, teacher and co-founder of Ivossi.com. Hi, my name's Tom, and I'm the other founder of the new English teaching website www.ivossi.com. This is the first in our series of Real Lives podcasts, in which we'll be talking to 10 foreigners living in Spain about their lives and what they love and dislike about life in Spain. We're now sitting in James's studio in Castelldefels, a small town on the coast, half an hour outside Barcelona. Hello, James.
Hello, Tom, the traveller.
Firstly, I'd like to begin with a bit of background information on you. How old are you and where are you from originally?
I'm a very young 37 years old.
And how long have you been in Spain for?
I've been in Spain since 2000, I think.
And can you tell us what you've been doing in Spain all this time?
I've spent most of my time writing, raising children, very difficult children, but very beautiful children, battling with language schools and other people in the language teaching establishment, and then finally setting up Ivossi with you.
I've been living with James and his very quirky Spanglish family for a couple of months now. Can you tell us a bit more about your family?
I can. It might be a cliche to talk about a Spanglish family, but it is completely true. We live in two worlds linguistically, further complicated by the fact it's not just English Spanish, it's Colombian Spanish, but then the children go to school and speak Spanish, and I also have a daughter whose mother is Argentinian, and then she comes over, she can't even speak any English and just keeps on talking in her Argentinian accent. So yes, we are a Spanglish family, it's true, Tom.
So what are the benefits of being in a Spanglish family?
The benefits of being in a Spanglish family is there's never a dull moment. Lots of passion, lots of Anglo-Saxon restraint and analysis, and then lots more passion. Good blending of different cultures.
And do you ever have any communication problems because of the languages?
Well, in the beginning we did, because my stepdaughter didn't speak a word of English and I didn't speak a word of Spanish. Therefore it was quite difficult being a parent when you can't actually communicate with your daughter. Over the course of the years we've really developed our own language. It's kind of a subclass of Spanglish. And nobody else would understand it, but we understand each other perfectly, except when we're arguing.
So why did you come to Spain in the first place?
Well, originally I went to... Is that a question about Spain, or why did I leave London?
Why did you actually come to Spain?
Well, I came to Spain because when I first left London in 2000... I went to the very beautiful island of Santorini in Greece, and where I lived in a cave house with a small wild dog called Cheeky. Hello, Cheeky, if you're listening. Okay, it's unlikely he's listening. And then eventually my money ran out. I knew I needed to make some money, so I wanted to go to another place in Europe that was equally as relaxing and rich in culture and warmth of the people, but I could earn some money, and the logical conclusion was Spain. Nowhere else really fits all of those requirements.
Okay. Now, moving on, we all know you're a bit of an obsessive, James. Can you tell us...
Did
Yes,
my wife
do.
say that?
Everyone knows. Can you tell us about how this affected your writing? And is it true that writing the Tools of Fluency series actually made you ill?
Well, when you say the word ill, I'm going to speak like a language teacher now, makes you think of coughs and colds and stuff like that. It didn't make me ill in that sense. It did make me mentally ill, because I had to spend so many hours alone, so many hours full stop each day, because I had to do most of the research myself, most of the writing, dealing with publishers, every single thing you can imagine. I had to do it for a very long time on my own, and I had an enormous lack of funds. My computer broke, and the only one I could get was this rubbish, absolute rubbish portable from the 1990s. It had very hard keys, and the combination of, kind of 12 hours a day working on it and a bad posture gave me a hernia discale. What's the English for that, Tom?
I have no idea what that is.
There you go, we're Spanglish. Hernia discale.
Okay, can you tell people what I'm doing here and why I've been living in your studio for the last couple of months?
Well, Tom the Traveller has perhaps decided to stop travelling and put all those fantastic skills of his into a socially useful and interesting enterprise, which is hopefully evosi.com. And so you're here to, I guess, to make sure that what I've been doing, the research and the philosophy and the ideas, actually enter into the outside world and don't just remain in my study.
So, for an England versus Spain comparison, what are the things that you most like and dislike about Spain?
Well, many of the things I dislike are quite silly and not important. I don't understand why, as soon as there's a slight interruption in the traffic, everybody has to beat their horn. I don't know if it's some kind of genetic disorder, but that's quite annoying. People riding bicycles on pavements I find intensely annoying. It's actually illegal in England to do that for very good reasons. And one more serious cultural thing is, I think that Spanish parents spoil their children. They consent to everything. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but they do spoil them, and that annoys me. However, they do give them a lot of love as well. And
so the best things?
What I like about Spain is the beer. I think Spanish beer is one of the most underrated beers in the world. Spanish people constantly, for them, the good beers are the foreign ones, the German ones. That Spanish beer, and I can tell you I'm an expert on beer, is one of the finest in the world. And it's also very cheap. That's very good. I'll tell you something very interesting if we're going to talk about comparative culture. When people from London come and visit me, they go to the town square, they sit there, and they watch the old people sitting down, the young people, children playing, all in a kind of chaotic harmony, and they are amazed by it. They are amazed that the town is so safe, everybody can come out, the way people seem to be interacting together, nobody bothering anyone else. And when I see that surprise in their face, it reminds me of some of the terrible and worst things about English society. And at the end of the day, that's why I live in Spain. There's just more love going around.
So your final verdict, clearly Spain wins.
Absolutely, hands down. Spain is better than England.
Okay. Thanks for joining us on our first ever Evosi podcast. In the next podcast, we'll be reversing roles, and James will be interviewing me about my experiences living abroad in Thailand, Australia, Latin America, and Spain. Don't forget you can get the worksheet for this podcast at www.evosi.com. The worksheet includes a transcript of this conversation in both English and Spanish, grammar exercises, and some key vocabulary and language points. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye, everybody.